And we're live now? Is it saying we're live? I see end stream right up here. And, let me reload this. And we're live now? Is it saying? Yep, we are live. Sweet. Woo! So now let me copy this link and go to Facebook. And share now. Streaming now. Come say hi. Da, da, da. Post. Da, da, da. Hello to everybody there here so far. Sorry this start was so awkward. But yeah, thanks for popping in. It's the first time I've done this in 6 years. I haven't done a live stream on my channel since 2014, and only one of the 3 that I did that year is even public on my channel anymore. One, I think, has it had a processing error, and another one I privated mostly because of a person I don't want to name that was in the thing. Maybe some people who were around back then know who I'm referring to. But, yeah. Happy Friday to you, West Coast Emerald Bull. And I'm heard okay. Sweet. That is good. So, I know I said in the last video that I like when live streams have a point. This one's probably not going to have too much of a point. Like the title of this stream says, it's basically just, trying to get into the groove of things, because this is something I would like to do more this year. I don't think I'm going to have a schedule for this. I'm probably just going to do it whenever I feel like, especially if there's been a bit of time where I haven't put out a video. This can make for some filler and, let you guys know that, yeah, I'm alive. I am still active. I'm not dead, etc. So with that said, what you guys think of the setup here? I spent the last few days playing around in OBS and putting together, some different setup windows and, the nice little frame here, the social media links down there, the chat on the side. Actually, no, it's this side. But yeah, so if you guys, want to have a little chat, I'm going to stream for maybe an hour, maybe a little more. I'm home alone at the moment, and I have a dog who I don't want to feel lonely, so I don't know how long I'm going to have this going for, but yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you're liking the setup, because I'm very proud of it. I was very proud of it when, once I had figured out how to do everything, including how to get a drop shadow on some of the stuff. I don't know how to do that with the text, but for images and stuff, I got drop shadow there. I think streams are the best way of engaging to your audience, and your chat theme is actually pretty cool. Sweet. Yeah, because I remember one of the reasons why I made the feedback survey was because I wanted to figure out ways to sort of, up the engagement and, not like I, complain and worry that much about, relevance, because relevance is a bitch on YouTube. I'd like to think that I'm not completely irrelevant or anything like that, and I feel like streams are a good way to sort of, have at it and, keep shit occupied and just chill and relax. taking a break from Nodding Stevie's stream because it's nuts over there, I imagine. Right. Chelsea here is a mod for a number of people in the community's streams. I'll probably make her a mod on mine too once I figure out how to do that. Add moderator. Wow. Chelsea Courier is now a moderator for your channel. Sweet. It would be cool for you to interact with your fans more using these streams. Yep, that's basically the aim. It's also a way for me to get thoughts out about something that I don't really feel like making a script about, or something that I just have on my mind that I would really like to get out there, and interact with you guys in the process. Are those old school Mountain Dew bottles on your amp? I guess. I'm not sure how old they are or when they were, but back in 2016, when I was doing some grocery shopping, I saw like a 4 or 6 pack of those Mountain Dew bottles. I thought they looked really cool, and because I thought the bottles looked neat, I decided to have them as like amp decorations. Hopefully they can not break, because I would like to have that be my setup for playing live. It'd be like a fun little gimmick. Obligatory metalhead question. Thoughts on Wayne's World? Movie's funny. I like it a lot. I haven't watched it in a very long time, but it's a very essential movie for if you're into metal, especially 80s metal, because it has a very 80s metal theme and flair and lingo, and of course the music. You know, there's some, 80s metal stuff in there, like for example, the song Everything About You by Ugly Kid Joe. You hear that in there, and yeah, it's one of my favorite Mike Myers roles, and one of his only good ones, I guess, too. 70s era bottles, 70s, 80s era bottles, whatever. They are what they are. Can't believe I heard of you through that old UTF video, and well, look at you now. Aw. Oh, God. UTF. What a fucking chode. Have you guys seen that video that he put on his channel recently about why he deleted a bunch of his videos? That was a fucking train wreck, and it was really fucking sad. Have you seen the movie Rock of Ages? I've seen the movie as well as seen it performed live. You can't see it, but on my bulletin board over here that's like behind my green screen, I have tacked up there a playbill from when I saw Rock of Ages. And of course, me being an 80s music fan, of course I'm gonna like it. Some people don't really like the movie that much. I loved it. I thought Tom Cruise was all right as Stacey Jacks. The cast was very star-studded there. I can't not love it just a little bit. Thoughts on Johnny Craig? Here we go. So Johnny Craig, if you don't know, he was the original vocalist of the post-hardcore band Emma Rosa. He also sang in Dance Gavin Dance, and is also the former vocalist of the band Slaves. One of my favorite post-hardcore vocalists, but recently he got exposed for being really, shall we say, abusive, and yeah, he's another one of those cases where, yeah, I'm still going to listen to those first 2 Emma Rose albums. I'm still going to listen to Slaves. But yeah, no, he can go fuck himself as a person. I'm trying to catch up. And since Wayne's World had a band called the Shitty Beatles, worst metal band you've ever heard. The worst band I've ever heard, is a band that you guys have never heard of because they're a local band. So let me take you back to 2016. I was making a trip out to, I believe it was Greenfield, Massachusetts, to watch a friend of mine from college. I've mentioned him in a few of my videos, my friend AJ. He was filling in on guitar for a band from the Westchester scene that I was familiarized and assimilated with throughout my college years. A prog rock band called And the Traveler. Unfortunately, they are no longer together, but he was filling in on guitar for them, and I decided to make a trip out to see him there. And one of the bands that was opening there was this two-piece band, uh, a male guitarist and vocalist, and a female drummer, kind of like White Stripes. I'm not sure if they're brother and sister, though, like White Stripes, or husband and wife, or anything like that. But it was a two-person band. The guitarist was playing into a splitter, so it doubled as, like, bass. They sucked so much. I hated their sound. They sounded like such trash. It was unbelievably sloppy. I, you know, this is why I kind of hate being nice sometimes. I didn't want to just, step out. I didn't want to seem like an asshole or anything like that. But man, I could not stand their set. And apparently they were going to be like making a trip to Japan or something. But no, that's the worst band I've ever heard. Count your blessings that you will probably never ever see this band. UTF is a bitch. I got him to do drumming videos, but he is salty now. You got him to do drumming videos? I mean, good for you, I guess. I'm not going to say he's a bad drummer, but he's a fucking prick. On the topic of rock and roll movies, what do you think of Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny? Another one of my favorites. The soundtrack album is my favorite of Tenacious D's albums. It's a classic. One of my favorite Jack Black movies. Beelzebub's The Final Showdown is an awesome fucking song. That scene rules. Dave Grohl is the devil, ironically, because he is Jesus. But yeah, love it. Thoughts on Breaking Benjamin? Heard their new album came out. The album that they put out is an acoustic album, so I'm not really interested in that. But Breaking Benjamin are one of my favorite alternative metal bands. I've seen them live twice. They were fun. They've always had a very consistent sound, a sound I have always admired. And whenever they get to putting out, their next album, their next studio album that isn't an acoustic album, I'm going to be excited there. Any thoughts on the Grammys this year? Okay. I actually have a good few thoughts. I suppose you'll start with the one thing that I know you're probably curious about, my thoughts on Tool winning the Best Metal Performance for Tempest. I was hoping, sort of, that I Prevail would win, mostly because I want to see a newer band receive this accolade, so, shit doesn't seem stuck in the past like I was talking about in the Why I Hate the Rock is Dead argument video. I feel a band like I Prevail, even if their main claim to fame was a cover of a pop song, they're still a newer band that are pretty self-made for the most part. They grinded hard, or ground hard, and they got to where they are pretty much all their own for the most part, and I would like to see it pay off that way, but, I can't argue with Tool winning because Tempest is a crazy fucking song. Hands down the best track on Fear Inoculum, and, if Tool was going to win a Grammy for anything, I'm glad it was for that. Other than that, the best rock performance went to Gary Clark Jr. Gary Clark Jr. is okay. He's an alright throwback blues guitarist. I can't really say I'm that familiar with most of his stuff, but he is a good musician. I respect him, so good for him. And the other thing I have to say about the Grammys is a lot of the awards went to Billie Eilish. And on one hand, you guys know how I feel about Bad Guy. You saw me talk about it in Worst Songs. I do not like the song. But like I also said, I said this in Best Songs, not Worst Songs. I respect her more than I like her. She's somebody doing something unique to pop music right now. Doing something original, not, caving in and just making this bland shit that everybody else is making. And I respect that, which is why, I can't be too upset at her winning a bunch of the categories there, because it sort of signifies that there might be a bit of a shift going on, a bit of a left turn like I've been wanting to see happen for the longest time. And I'm hoping this isn't a fluke. I hope Billie does have, staying power and, can make some more songs like like When the Party's Over, and a couple of the other ones I've heard. And, Bad Guy is whatever. I don't like the song, but, okay. It was a cool movie. I don't really watch much musicals, but the classic 80s rock songs really were the cherry on top. Of course, if you're into that kind of music, you're going to love Rock of Ages. If it's not your thing, I can't really see you liking it, but if you're an 80s music fan or an 80s music junkie like me, of course, it'll be your thing. At the time when I was friends with Johnny Boy, I chat with him in streams, typing, do drum covers. Loved that Aerosmith Run DMC did an old song. Oh, yeah, they did a performance there. Of course, unfortunately, Jam Master Jay is no longer with us. And apparently, Joey Kramer, the drummer, didn't show up live. But they did their thing. They did the Walk This Way or whatever. And yeah, it's a cool throwback there. If you had to make a choice, Backstreet Boys or NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. I'm more familiar with their stuff than NSYNC's stuff. I have more of a soft spot for I Want It That Way than much of NSYNC's songs. I can only really name 2 songs of NSYNC's. Fucking Bye 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 and It's Gonna Be Me. And Backstreet Boys, Tyler Larson of Music Is Win, in one of his legendary Licks videos, the one about, legendary licks that you don't know, that something about, they're from bad songs or something like that. That's what really got me to start looking more into Backstreet Boys, because there was a song in that video that has like a pretty slick guitar solo. It was Larger Than Life. That's a cool song. Any big name bands where you love their music but can't stand the band name? Oh yes, ARTV did a video all about this. One band that comes to mind, and he mentioned this in his video, the band Diarrhea Planet. A friend of mine from college actually got me into them and told me that they have 5 guitarists in the band, and I'm like, okay. But yeah, Diarrhea Planet, that's a terrible name for a band, but they're interesting. Pretty cool, like, punk rock alternative stuff. So, if you're interested in hearing what they sound like, check them out. Your opinion on how anti-SJWs are turning into SJWs themselves, from No BS to Computing Forever and the Comicsgate Mob. I have no idea what any of these things are. But, I've always been a believer in horseshoe theory and how the further you stray to one side, the more similar you are to the other side. We see this a lot. And attitude-wise, obviously, people on the anti-SJW side can act like them. Like, fuck, where was I going with this? Fuck, I lost my fucking train of thought. I forget who said this, but, like, one person said that, one reason why, what used to be, like, the atheist community shifted their attention to, feminism and social justice is because of sort of similarity that they play to the hardcore religious extremists in, like, the gatekeeping mentality and just how much assholes they can be. So, obviously, there's definitely some similarities, whether they want to admit it or not. The last I really heard about Computing Forever was him becoming a Christian or something, and it's like, okay, I don't really care if you're a Christian as long as you're not, shoving the shit down everyone's throat and, getting onto somebody just because they don't believe in a god or something like that. Backstreet Boys, I swear they were second other than New Kids on the Block. Funny, I typed that. My sister saw them live and was asleep during that show. Who falls asleep at a concert? You ought to be ashamed. Wow. I really love Billy, but I can definitely understand why someone wouldn't be into her as much. When the Party's Over is gorgeous. I've always loved Bellyache, and I Love You from her album. Sometime I should probably try to listen to some more of her stuff. Heavy Metal, an 80s film with a bunch of metal music, is another good movie. It's a heavier movie of Fantasia. Yeah, it is pretty similar to Fantasia. That's another pretty interesting movie. And I have South Park to thank for making me aware of that. The episode with the Sniffing the Cat Pee does a little homage to the movie Heavy Metal, where Kenny is trying to get with the big-titted lady and duels with fucking Gerald when he has the fucking tripping out fantasy. But yeah, that's how I got into that movie. It's also how I took notice of the song Heavy Metal Taking a Ride by Don Felder. Pretty cool song. Speaking of the Grammys, BTS was there, and do you think they're getting overexposed or it's par for the course of pop? It took me a while to really know who BTS was. They're apparently like the Korean version of like what One Direction was back in 2012 when everyone was talking about them nonstop. And they've taken over the world and whatnot. I've never listened to any of their music. I know they have a very, very, very rabid fan base that really just gets up in people's faces a lot. In the last video, I compared them to the Metal Elitists because, you know, they pretty much do the same thing. I'm not sure how overexposed they are because I don't really pay attention to them. But, you know, the fan base is definitely nuts. What plans are you looking forward to this year? Well, one thing I actually did this morning, I woke up at 11 a.m. to wait for tickets to go on sale at noon today for a particular show. I then waited in a queue for about half an hour until I was able to purchase a ticket. It took me a few tries to get a seat at all, but I got a ticket to My Chemical Goddamn Romance this September. I officially take back anything that I had said about like their reunion being kind of a fluke and just being a one-off thing that they would just play a few shows in California and then just go back into hiatus. Nope, they're actually doing a legit tour, and I got a ticket for it, so of course I'm going to jump on it because this is kind of a motto I have for going to concerts. You never know when the time might come where you'll never be able to do it. This has been a driving force for a lot of, you know, tickets I've bought for concerts. The idea that they're probably going to go into retirement soon, or something like that. Like, I think I mentioned this when talking about getting a ticket to see Metallica as well as Ozzy, especially with Ozzy as of recently. I heard about him being diagnosed with Parkinson's. That is really, really shitty. I'm really hoping 2020 isn't the year where he perishes after so many years of just saying fuck you to death when it would seem the most convenient for any other person. But we'll see what happens. Other than that, some other concerts that I got tickets for, you'll see me talk about these in the next one or two Share Collection videos when I make them. I think 2 weeks, 2 Sundays from now, I'm seeing The Used, which they're actually being opened by the band that Rest Repose morphed into, Dragged Under. So I'm going to be seeing Ryan Fluff Bruce and Tony Kapaki for the second time. This time under their new name, Dragged Under, with their very Rise Against sound that I really love. So this should be fun. Then in March, I'm seeing Devin Townsend, opened by Haken and the Contortionist. This should be awesome. Then I and my friend Space Metal Ferrari 248, we are going to be seeing Dragon Force. Finally, after all this time, I can see them actually be able to play their shit live, and I don't have to rely on someone else's experience, so I can finally see it for myself. Then I think the next one I have a ticket for is Symphony X, another band that's been on my bucket list for ages. So yeah, those are, my upcoming concert plans. I'm not familiar with her music, but I would much rather see her on the spotlight than Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, of course. I would rather see Billie Eilish, win those awards than a number of people that were there. Like Lizzo, for example. Any members of the ranting community you lost respect aside from you know who? Well, aside from you know who and you also know who. One person that readily comes to mind is TheOutOfTouchFiend, mostly because I just kind of grew out of the whole, this person is a YouTube whore because they use flashy thumbnails and use flashy editing in their videos and they make money. Meh. It's such a fucking out of touch kind of attitude. There's really nothing wrong with doing any of those things. The only thing that's really wrong is scamming people and spreading misinformation and being a predator. Gage is streaming now too. Oh, sorry, Gage. No freaking way, FCR lucky. Do you think Red Hot Chili Peppers should continue on with music? I'd like to see them do it. They recently got John Frusciante back in the band. I'd love to see a new album from them now. I might even try to see them live too. I saw them once back in 2012 when they had Josh Klinghoffer as their guitarist. Me and 3 of my high school friends all pooled in. It was spring of our senior year of high school. It was a fun time. And it's a maybe that I might try to see them again with Frusciante back. I'd certainly be interested if, they made new music with John Frusciante. Thoughts on the CalArts style? I don't really pay much attention to a lot of, cartoons as of late. It is something I've sort of noticed, the CalArts style, where a lot of these cartoons look kind of similar to each other. I'm not going to say they're exactly the same because, that's an absolute statement. But, I don't know. I don't really have a problem with it, but I don't think it would hurt if, animators tried to put together a show that had a more unique style. Wouldn't hurt. Favorite band mascot? I'm not sure I have one. Not really much comes to mind at all, other than, Eddie from Iron Maiden. You subscribe to Disney Plus? No, I don't really need to. I can go on a website like kimcartoon.me and watch any animated movie ever made whenever I want. The only price I gotta pay is just, clicking off of some on-click ads that come up because they don't like it when I have ad block on. So, are you saying the Archfiend is the boomer of the ranting community? Yeah, I guess that would be a good word to use. Certainly, a boomer. There are certainly, other people that have kind of a boomer mentality. Oh, hey, Space Metal Ferrari's here. Yeah. We're going to drive together, just like we did with Ozzy. What are some things you dislike? You dislike to hate about Lady Gaga, past and present. That's some weird wording. Where, interesting you mentioned that, because my disliking of Lady Gaga is what evidently got me to discover Muse. Because back in the day, back in high school, Lady Gaga was fucking inescapable. She was everywhere, being talked about all the time. You hear her music all the time. I could not stand Bad Romance. I could not stand Poker Face. Those two in particular, I really just hated hearing. Other songs I either thought were just kind of, who cares, or, this actually isn't all that bad. Like, Edge of Glory is actually a song. Edge of Glory and You and I, those two in particular, I actually thought, they were kind of guilty pleasures that I never really minded when they came on. Edge of Glory in particular because of that cool sax solo from the late Clarence Clemens, may he rest his soul. But yeah, what did I hate about her back then? Mostly just, how cheap everything sounded and just how synthetic. Like, I've warmed up to Lady Gaga a bit as an artist, seeing her actually, play piano live and actually do a damn decent job at it. So I've grown to respect that about her. I'm still not really a fan of her music, mostly because maybe it's just some, leftover kind of bias from the shit being so overexposed back in my high school days. Hold on, let me. Never be ashamed of clickbait. I mean, clickbait can be annoying, but, it is what it is. Some people, I think, could benefit from not being so shameless about it, but there's nothing inherently wrong with it. That's my take on it. Opinions on Anthony Fantano's reviews. I don't watch them all the time. I only really click on a review of his if I'm familiar with the artist or it's an album I've been hearing about and, I'm interested in his take. I'm more active on what was his third channel, but I guess is now his second channel, his Fantano channel, the channel that he does Let's Argue on, along with other, music commentary kind of stuff, like what I do, and but, yeah, his reviews are okay. They can be a bit dry at times, but other than that, he's pretty analytical, and I respect the crap out of him. You may have heard from Space Metal Ferrari, but the two of us are best friends. We're like brothers, and I hope you can introduce me to you in person someday. Well, if you're from Massachusetts, it ain't too far off, you never know. That'll hopefully happen when I visit him in his home state because we live on opposite. Oh, you're from Arizona. Okay. The good thing is that Disney Plus is at least cheaper than HBO. Max will charge you $15.99. I wish Dawkins could play in our state. You're one of the luckiest fucks ever. Right, that's another thing I saw. I saw that at some Dawkins shows, George Lynch was actually going to be playing with him. So if that actually, if more dates get announced for that, then that will be awesome. It will render my Don Dawkins video pretty irrelevant. Me, I need to study for me exam, Mr. Krabs. New Testament single is out. I heard about that. Heard good things about it. Haven't listened to it yet. Also me. Oh, hey, Shades is streaming. Heard of Legends of Oz, Dorothy's Return. It's an animated movie and a huge scam in the animation industry. I have not heard of this. Hating A7X is one of the most boomer things ever, TBH. Boomer as well as kind of just out of touch in general. You don't even need to be of the boomer age to, be of that mindset because, Muck Fettlecore wasn't a boomer when he made that stupid video. I did a clickbait video once. Favorite rock song and album of all time. My favorite album, I'm planning on doing a ranking of all the tracks on that album. A few people probably know which album this is. I'm not going to spoil it. And if you in the chat know what the album is, please do not spoil it for anybody else in here who might not know. But that's a video I plan on making this year. Whenever it bounces around in my head, it seems like a more and more fun idea. But my favorite rock song, I mentioned this in my Danger Danger video. The song that was number one in that video, spoilers, Beat the Bullet from their album Screw It. Heard of JK News? No. Is it news that's all about saying JK? I'm only interested in talking with the Don and Lynch duo. Totally. And I think Mick Brown is still the drummer. The only one missing is Jeff Pilson, but it's okay. I mean, he's the bassist. I mean, I would love to see him there, but what can you do? So yeah, my My content isn't relevant to you anyway. It's on veganism. Yeah. Yeah. There is that video I have on my channel about the vegetarian pamphlet. That was a fun video to make. But yeah, I don't have a problem with people being vegan. But don't be a vegan, Gaines, and I won't have a problem with you. What was the worst thing that ever happened to you at a concert? Okay. For this, I'm going to tell you what the worst concert I've ever been to is. The worst concert I've ever been to was Warped 2017. The second and final Warped that I went to. This was the second to last one that existed, because in 2018, of course, Warped ended. But Warped that year, the reason why this was the worst concert, it had nothing to do with any of the bands or any of their performances. They were fine. But I got massively drenched on. I had no idea. It looked so nice out when I left. I didn't bring like a coat or anything like that. It randomly just decided to rain super fucking hard. It was miserable. But the silver lining with this is that, one of the outdoor stages got pushed back a bit. So some of the bands that I thought I wasn't going to see because they conflicted with another set, I ended up getting to see. So that was like the silver lining there. Favorite 70s rock song? Not too sure. I'm probably going to go with Cold as Ice by Foreigner. I always really liked the structure of that song, the progression of the song, and overall, it's a cool thing to listen to. It's my favorite Foreigner song. It's a big reason why I find Foreigner to be such a very respectable and dynamic band, and that's a rock song from the 70s that I find myself going back to a lot. Heard of Misophonia? No. Sleigh Bells gave you honorable mention, horrible memories too, though, right? Yes. Sleigh Bells. I mentioned this in the What's Wrong With on the Chili Peppers, that they opened at that show and were absolutely terrible. Their music was so boring, and it was painful sitting through that set. Me and my friends we all collectively agreed that this was not good, and we were very patient with waiting for the Chili Peppers to come out on stage. But yeah, Sleigh Bells suck. I am not. I try to be more rational than Vegan Gains. I do enjoy his content. Don't be Severage. He ate a raw pig head at a vegan festival to provoke people. That's douchey. Gonna hitch a ride. No spoilers! No spoilers! One of my friends commented on one of the posts I made linking the stream saying tits are GTFO. No, thank you. Other than that, that's pretty much what I got going on. Yes, you should feel ashamed of yourself, Space Metal. I specifically said no spoilers. Since the chat's kind of slow at the moment, I've caught up. Oh, never mind. Hits Blunt. If you put on another pair of shades, would you be RanterInShades in shades? I posted a picture of something like that on my page last summer. I was, thumbing through Snapchat filters because I was bored waiting for it was when I was getting my current computer, and one of the filters was, a pair of sunglasses, and I just lifted the shades up so it looked like I was wearing, two at the same time. If you dig around on my Facebook page in the photos, you can find it there. When I saw Motley Crue in 2015, there was this guy who was completely drunk to super high heaven, pissed all over the seat in front of him. Jeez. Damn. That is unpleasant. That reminds me of this video that I have on my phone. I apologize if this isn't going to sound good. But you guys need to hear this. So in 2015, funnily enough, I was on vacation with my family in California. We were at a Padres game, and we were sitting in front of this group of very drunk men, and one of them, let me find the video. Where is it? There it is. Listen to this.
And all that does is leave Ryan Howard. Third time's a charm, Howard. Why don't you try hitting right-handed, Howard?
You got a tiny random first and tourism place? Let me explain that.
Yeah.
That's actually not.
Nice cut, Ryan Howard!
Greg's getting into it.
Only 2 strikes to go, Howard!
This guy was amazing.
Stop it. Oh, don't walk him. Don't walk him. Just don't walk him. Just Shields is like, I'm gonna fire.
I guess that's all you need to hear. It goes on for like another minute. But yeah, that drunk dude constantly going, "What are you doing, Howard?" He was amazing. So yeah, that's my favorite drunk person memory. Opinions on Jimmy Kimmel. It's like, I don't know if you're psychic and you know how big of a fanboy I've kind of became of Emp Lemon, but his video on Jimmy Kimmel is probably the greatest anti-SJW video ever created. But yeah, Jimmy Kimmel, he is, one of these, moral grandstandards guised under the comedy label kind of people. And it's like, all right. No, thank you. Your favorite music critic, as of now, that honorable distinction goes to ARTV. Mainly because when I look at him, I kind of see myself. I view myself as kind of a very similar person to him in terms of music taste for the most part, in terms of video style, in terms of opinions on certain things. And yeah, he's my second favorite YouTuber in general after Music is Win. But as far as like my favorite like music reviewer, music commentator, he's my favorite there. Been watching for a minute now. Anybody here brave enough to go into the mosh pit? LOL. This is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I don't like moshing. I'm here to see live music. I don't want to get pushed and shoved because it kind of takes my focus away and, kind of hurts the experience a little. I was fortunate enough to be out of range where he had pissed all over, but my dad wasn't quite as lucky. As a tiny drop or two had gotten on his arm, he would have knocked that guy out on the spot. Damn. but he was too shocked to do anything. Speaking of ranters, I noticed Queenie Martha hasn't been active in 3 years and her channel is a ghost town. The reason why is because she kind of got chased out after defending MDA. So, yeah. No. She is terrible, and her content is awful and really boring, and no. Nope. Kimmel deserves a little bit of credit, though, for having rock bands like Green Day and Slipknot play in his show in the Rock is Dead era. Okay, yeah, that's a good point there. MDA has defenders. Yeah, he had a few defenders. Queenie Martha being one of them. It's because of her that we have the meme, "The evidence is fake! It's Photoshop!" Shades, watch out. Blackie Lawless is right behind you. But yeah, I honestly never really liked Queenie for the longest time. She was always kind of a cunt to me. So it wasn't really any loss seeing her go down that route. Am I also the only one who thinks Ellen DeGeneres is phony as in nice on camera but a jerk IRL? I'm sure that's the case with a lot of people, especially celebrities. You know, you can only get so lucky to meet somebody famous who is, the same off camera as they are on camera. I wouldn't really know about Ellen. Don't really pay that much attention to her either. Opinion on trap, other than it's gibberish. As a younger kid and in my teens, I was a metalhead despised rap, but I don't know. I guess growing up in Atlanta made it grow onto me. I guess depending on the instrumentation, trap beats can sound all right under it. Other than that, when it comes to current rap, it's not really a sound I'm particularly fond of. I'm very picky with how I like rap to sound. I'm someone who's kind of a sucker for 90s sounding stuff, or maybe early 2000s, maybe. Pedo apologist ain't worth it, mate. Exactly. The vocalist of Oceano is a nice guy. Well, yeah, I never said that everybody who is famous is different behind the scenes or anything like that. I've met a number of musicians with a large following, and they were very cool. Looking at some examples I have in my area over here, posters and, some autographs that I got from when I met people. Rest Repose, Polyphia, Drake Bell, Firehouse, and Chon, and Nonpoint. And Satriani, of course. But yeah, they were all cool to see. Do you listen to music on Spotify? No. I'm one of the very few people who is very traditional with how I listen to music. I have a very bottomless pit of an iTunes library, and I try to sync as much of it as I can on this 256 gig iPod Classic. But no, I have not, caved in and started using Spotify. Maybe I will one day if I absolutely need to. There's no other way I can continue doing what I'm doing. But we will see. I met him at Circle K. Cool. Are you 420 friendly? Everybody likes to think I am. There's a running joke within my friend group that the reason I wear the shades is because I'm a stoner, And if they've seen me without the shades, because I look so tired all the time, they joke about it being because I'm constantly high and whatnot. But no, I don't actually smoke weed. I got no problem if you do. It's just not something I do. Since you mentioned Emp Lemon, who's made YouTube poops, have you watched any YTPs from these poopers? Yoshi Maniac, yes. Yoshi Maniac is one of my favorites. His stuff is amazing. Quistoff YTP, have never heard of that one. Alpaca Hawk I have heard of. He's great. I wish he would upload something, because it's been a while. But yeah, Yoshi Maniac and Alpaca Hawk are two greats right there. CS188, of course, is my favorite. Yoshi Maniac would be my second favorite. And 256 Pi Alternate would be my third. Your library is probably bigger than the amount of atoms and particles in the universe. You wouldn't want to know the number of stuff in there. UTF's favorite show, Friends? Hey now, come on, that's an insult to Friends. I actually do like Friends. Not as much as Seinfeld, not as much as How I Met Your Mother, not as much as The Office, but I do like Friends. I think it's a good, sitcom. It's just not as good as those other ones. But yeah, now I'm just imagining UTF doing this dance to the fucking theme song. I'm only saying that to make Johnny Ventic butthurt. Of course, I'm guessing he hates Friends and, thinks it's garbage, which, isn't as much of an unpopular opinion as he probably thinks it is. I saw Emp Lemon's rant on Jimmy Kimmel. It was good, but he was way too biased as he attacked him for being liberal when I prefer not taking sides. I don't think he was attacking him strictly for being liberal, but for kind of perpetuating the kind of, SJW kind of mindset and whatnot, What else did he... I hate JK for his attitude, just not his politics. Okay. I listened to Lil Uzi Vert while tripling on DMT, and Jesus fucking Christ, that changed music. Cool. Why am I suddenly picturing the Goomba hat on you dancing? Right, because if you guys remember the Mary Dansmith video, which, if you guys are lucky, you might be getting a sequel to that this year. But I did buy a Goomba hat pretty much just for that video. If I wanted to, I could go get it. I don't want to, though. Quistoff YTP is one of the greatest examples of a pooper who can make completely clean YTPs that are still drop-dead funny. I recommend seeing some of his poops. I've heard the same thing said about DeThings 1, who's another really good one. Ooh, look at me. I'm so counterculture by screaming my anus off about Europe, Def Leppard, and Y&T. That fucking video. Europe! This isn't Metal MTV! Yes, it fucking is. I hate Seinfeld, both the show and the guy himself, for being unfunny and a hypocrite. YouTube is a trash can, but he invites Miranda Sings for his show. Huh. I do remember him saying that about YouTube, and that is kind of a boomer kind of attitude. Other than that, what can you do? Rat, Quiet Riot, Poison, gah! Oh, man. I still have that fucking video saved. I know you do. I don't know if I want you to send it to me or not, but, yeah. Also, is the TheOutOfTouchFiend still making videos? I think he has a Ghost Town on YT channel as well. Now I think might be a good time to actually test one of my screens over here. First, hold on. If I click this, let me go to let me go to click this and then go back. Can you guys see my browser now? So I can actually show you now, and I apologize if it looks kind of glitchy. I have no idea what the issue is with the capture of that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a new page and go to the TheOutOfTouchFiend. Newest video is 3 days ago. So, yeah, I guess he is still making videos. Okay. Only gets, a couple thousand views on them, which I get that I guess I'm not in really any position to be, making fun of somebody for, having, that problem, because I have that problem too. But, yeah, looks like he is still somewhat active. 3 days, 4 days, a week, a month, 2 months, 3 months, 3 months. Look how gray his hair is, damn. So now I will go back to the main window. Get the pull-out window back. Do you play any video games? I've mentioned this probably a few times before. Outside of a very small number of games that I have for like nostalgia, no, I am not a gamer. If you're really into video games, cool. I'm not one of these people that, goes on these, tirades about how gamers are all assholes and blah, blah, blah. Just let them enjoy their thing, okay? If they want to be kind of spurgy about it, that's their prerogative. It's just not really my thing. Gonna watch the Pixar movie Onward, maybe. I suppose I'm interested enough. I've seen one preview of it. It looks well animated, definitely. We'll see. Yep, you see the browser, okay. Yep. He's played Guitar Hero games before, but he's not a gamer. Yep. Guitar Hero being one of them. I have the first 5 games. I've never actually played the 5th one, mostly because I kind of got bored with Guitar Hero at that point. But I have it along with the other first 4, as well as Rock the 80s, because of course I have Rock the 80s. Other than that, the only games I really, have that I actually, turn to is pretty much Yoshi's Island, Super Mario 3, and some humongous entertainment games that part of me wants to play live sometime, just to see how that goes. I think the TheOutOfTouchFiend is a ghost town, as he still makes videos, but he lost a lot of relevance, pretty much. Best band-based GHGHM. Oh, you're referring to Guitar Hero Metallica. Right. Have you met any famous people? Like I kind of alluded to before, I have been to a number of VIP meet and greets. One of my first concerts was meeting Joe Satriani. That was one of the best days of my life. Last year, I also met Alter Bridge for my birthday, which was fucking amazing. Me and Space Metal Fry were actually talking about this earlier today. The people I've met and gotten selfies with at concerts and whatnot. Other VIP meet and greets I've I've done are Firehouse, Polyphia, Chon, and Rest Repose. And with the Rest Repose one, you can find the video on my channel of the 2 questions that I asked Jared Dines. It's a really good watch if you are trying to start a band. It's very good, helpful advice there. I've been addicted to Guitar Hero again myself. Do you watch the show House of Cards? No. Remember Girls Gone Wild? I wonder how the girls are up to. Wonder how old they are. You have Guitar Hero Metallica? No, I don't have any of the, band-based games. Mostly because, I don't know, they didn't really interest me that much because I liked the variety in the games, and the band-based ones didn't really seem like there was any variety outside of maybe just a small little chunk of songs that I guess are like bonus songs. GGW came to my town, wrecked a bar. Ooh. Favorite YouTube one-hit wonders. Charlie Bit My Finger and Chocolate Rain, for example. Chocolate Rain is probably the only one that comes to mind. I actually have the song in my iTunes. I actually kind of enjoy the song, unironically. Another one that comes to mind, the very first video in my favorites playlist is the video Muffins by Liam Kyle Sullivan, who also did the Shoes song. That's another memory from back in the day. But yeah, I'll probably go with Chocolate Rain for that one. I've always wanted to see you react to a Young Thug video. Maybe I'll do that in a stream one day. Favorite one-hit wonder song of all time. And by one-hit wonder, I'm guessing you mean, actual one-hit wonder and whatnot. I'm not going to mention any of the bands that I talked about in the One Hit Wonder Bands video. Like a song, I'm trying to think of a song where the only song I really know from them is their one hit. One that comes readily to mind is Take On Me. That song is very fun. I like it a lot. And yeah, I'm going to go with that. I like your shirt. Thank you. Michael did nothing wrong. Rudest YouTuber. Good question. I'm not sure. Because there's a lot of, well, I could give a generic answer and say Onision. I don't think that's a particularly unique answer, but I'm having trouble thinking of, YouTubers I consider, kind of jackasses. Vegan Games is probably another person that comes to mind. He was kind of a jackass when he first came on my radar. Got my actual answer, Keemstar. Thoughts on the movie The Accountant? Don't think I've seen that. I will add that to my list of movies that I have to check out. The Accountant. Chocolate Rain. You read this in my voice and screw you. Even though you're not a gamer, are there any particular video game soundtracks you enjoy listening to? I do appreciate me some Koji Kondo. He's one person that comes to mind. The Guitar Hero soundtracks, of course, there's that. Some of my brother's sports video games have some cool soundtracks on them, and I have them to thank for showing me a number of artists that I know. Like, for example, I think this was Madden NFL 10 or 11, I forget which one, but I have that to thank for getting me into the white rapper Classified. His song That Ain't Classy, it's a That song is such a cool song. If you haven't heard it, check it out. Um, so he's got some soundtracks on those games that I would say, are cool. Other than that, yeah. Am I the only one that thinks Imagine Dragons is such an ill-fitting name, as their name sounds epic, but their music is so bland? I could say the same about their covers, their album covers as well. Like, the last album they put out, that has a really, really cool cover. But, as I've said in a number of the Best Songs videos, I don't hate their music. I don't think Imagine Dragons are the worst band ever. Excuse me. I take them over a number of, acts nowadays. They just could be better. They could be doing something a lot more spectacular and less synthetic sounding than they're doing. And then maybe people would see them as having more credibility as a rock band, and they're taking up the top 3 fucking slots of was this Billboard or Rolling Stone that put out that list of the best rock songs of the decade, and the top 3 are all by fucking Imagine Dragons. Popeyes, Churches, or KFC? KFC. What about Tony Hawk game soundtracks? I've heard that a lot of good bands have had songs in those games. I've just never actually played the games myself. Neither has my brother. But yeah. Much like The Killer, never killed anybody, pretty sure. You mean The Killers? Yeah, I remember sort of having that reaction when I first listened to The Killers. I think they're an okay band. They're pretty alright. I like Brandon Flowers as a vocalist. The song Jenny Was a Friend of Mine has a really awesome bass part. And of course, I can't say no to When You Were Young. But yeah, they don't sound like, a violent band. Like their name sort of implies that they're like this aggressive band or something. I don't hate Imagine Dragons, but I could not stand Radioactive or Bet My Life. Have you seen College Humor's video? The irrationally long Number Pie song, Sweet Number Pie. It was based on Warrant's Cherry Pie. I have not seen that. I don't really watch College Humor. Maybe I'll check that out sometime. Heard of Machinima? I know of them, but other than that, no. That's the most I can say there. Have you ever accidentally speeded your car to a song you genuinely love? Possibly. I don't know if I have. No one's ever stopped me for it. I liked Imagine Dragons' old songs, but I don't really care about them anymore. Same goes for Maroon 5. Maroon 5 has the one amazing album, Songs About Jane, and they've just never really matched it at all. I've heard some good things about the second album, though. The songs I've heard from the second album, It Won't Be Soon Before Long, they didn't really resonate as much with me as the ones on Songs About Jane, and ever since then, they've basically just been straying further away from the sound. But Maroon 5, ever since then, basically sort of teeter between this song is fucking annoying and awful, like One More Night, or a song that, is actually decently, I don't mind it, like Sugar. That's like my favorite song I've heard from them in such a long time. But everything else that I've heard from them is not good, not bad, just meh. Just really just mediocre. Like, that's why I haven't really put Maroon 5 on any of my year-end lists, other than when I put One More Night on Worst Songs of 2013 and Sugar on Best Songs of 2015. I went 93 miles per hour in March 2016 to Highway Star. Damn, that's pretty cool, actually. Ever notice every commercial and vlog nowadays uses an annoying twinkly ukulele melody? Yeah, I know exactly which ukulele song you're probably thinking of, because I've used it in a couple of my videos. But yeah, as well as the very synthetic sounding delivery. Hello, Oleander Rainbow Glycerine. Someone I've seen in my buddy Thrash Metal Guru's streams. I mean, if you're gonna speed to anything on the highway, it might as well be Highway Star. I might call it a night soon, again, because I kind of want to, check on my dog and, make sure he gets out. And also because I'm hungry. I'll answer a few more questions first before I head off. Do you think Drake and Josh can get mean-spirited a lot? Mean-spirited? Like on Megan's end, I would say probably sometimes. Sometimes a lot of the shit that she pulls is like, what the fuck? The episode with the child star, that she was also very mean-spirited. Other than that, I wouldn't say. That was back when or Kickstart My Heart. Oh yeah, that's another, good driving song. I Speed to the Magnum PI theme, or Speed Demon by Keel. Ooh, there's a obscure one. Heading Out to the Highway by Judas Priest is another, good one for that. What's your favorite Avril Lavigne song? I'm guessing this is because of, Best Damn Thing being the transition song and Best Songs of 2019. I'm going to go with Complicated for this one because that's the one I had the most experience listening to as a kid and the song that really kind of made me interested in her music. I don't really listen to much of her stuff after Best Damn Thing. But yeah, Complicated is a nice little song. I love the Alien episode, yeah. And just an FYI, I would like to do a countdown about Drake and Josh someday. That would be fun. Where do you live? I'm not going to mention where beyond Massachusetts. Do you miss Gianriella? To me, Battle of the Panther was a very... Oh, another Drake and Josh one. I guess that one was a little... Some of the characters there were a little dickish. Do I miss Gianriella? I still see her in my feed sometimes. But yeah, I do miss when she was a lot more active, especially back in 2016. Her the content she was putting out back at that time was actually pretty damn cool. And her podcast, The Giants Cast, was neat to listen to. I used to have a tradition where after I get out of my therapy sessions every Wednesday, I would see a Giants Cast in my feed, and I would listen to that on my way to get lunch, but I cannot do that anymore. Free Will Burning. Any black metal songs you like? If there are, I probably don't realize that they're black metal, I guess. Like there are bands that get labeled as black metal, such as Merciful Fate gets labeled as black metal, along with I want to say Celtic Frost as well. But yeah, there's not really much black metal that I listen to. Thoughts on Dan Schneider? No feet allowed. There are my thoughts. The spirit of Massachusetts is the spirit of America. Thoughts on Joy Sparkle BS? Oh God, no. Joy Sparkle BS is the definition of completely milking something dry on multiple occasions and is not something that anyone should aspire to be. Like, if you want to do YouTube professionally, cool, but all she did was just completely milk not just Onision situations, but the Daddy-O5 situation as well, making fucking 50 videos a day and whatnot. on these two things specifically, it's like, no, nuh-uh. She was kind of terrible. Favorite Tarantino movie? I'm going to have to go to Quentin Tarantino filmography. Oh yeah, this one should have come very readily to mind. Pulp Fiction. Your most and least favorite Disney film, excluding Pixar. Thank you for clarifying. My favorite Disney film, it's got to be Lion King, with Aladdin being a very, very close second. Least favorite, I'm not really sure, because I haven't seen every Disney movie ever. Let me think of ones I have seen. I guess I'm going to be cliche with this and say Chicken Little. Ram It Down title track. Who? Those metal elitists crying that a metal musician likes Ariana Grande was cringe. That was, who was it that said they liked Ariana Grande? I shared this on my page. I should remember this. Why am I forgetting who this was? Posts. Oh yeah, it was Jim Root that said that he liked Ariana Grande, and it's good for him. There's really not much not to like. Ariana Grande is a fantastic singer and is one of the best pop artists out right now. Sure, not all her songs are amazing, but she's one of the best out right now, and can't go wrong. Ever seen the movie Harold and Maude? No. I've heard Joy Sparkle BS was just hungry for attention, which why she made me so much. Yeah, she was very attention starved, posting like multiple videos a day, either all about Onision or all about Daddy 05. It was frankly really cringy, and Thrash Metal Guru and Atticus the Death Metaler both feel kind of guilty for sort of giving her a bit of a platform, because they both shouted her out when she was starting out, because I guess she showed some promise back then, and the both of them just regret it now. I remember seeing Chicken Little when it came out, and I never liked it at all. Mm-hmm. Best scream in metal. You know, I don't know. It depends. Are you talking about like... Excuse me. Are you talking like metalcore scream or like a high shriek or something? Would you grow your hair like the Mighty Blue Magus? I wanted to once, but I'm content with my hair like this. I like my bang, my emo bang, or as I call it, the told. Best/worst Pixar movie. Best goes to the first three Toy Stories. The fourth was all right, but I'll say this much about Toy Story 4. It makes me want a fucking 5 just for the sake of reuniting the characters. So, good job, Disney. Good job, Pixar. Least favorite. Again, I haven't seen every Pixar movie. Like, I know Cars is really popular to hate. I just have not seen Cars, and I don't really intend on seeing it because it just doesn't look like something that I want to sit through. Can you impersonate Undertaker Freak? Hello there, boys and girls. Undertaker Freak 1127 here to say, get that shit out of here. If you get a copyright claim on your video, it is their product. You do not deserve any of that money. You are a thief. Do you like cake as in the band, not the food? Nah. I always found them kind of boring. A shitty haircut is how RAS got his name. Yes, in fact it is. If you go back, you can find that video. Seen Gargoyles. Heard about it. Never watched it myself. When's the next SpongeBob? It's Dead Monkey! Yes! Woo! By the way, guys, Mortified Productions put out a new video. His favorite albums of 2019. Go check that out. It's a good video. Even though I'm not really the craziest about, the gameplay footage that he uses, he still put a lot of time into the writing and the editing. And he could really use your support, especially because he's wanting to get back into the swing of things. Best high-pitched scream definitely goes to John Mariah and Angel of Death. That's kind of a cliche, but all right. A movie you like that you thought you weren't gonna? I don't know. I can't really think of one there. Mostly because there's just a lot of movies I just haven't really been subjected to. 0 out of 10 for no hand jobbing the copyright law. Okay. Oh, was that something he actually said? Is that actually wording that he actually used? Hand jobbing? Your stream setup looks sexy as fuck, BTW. Thank you. Spot on impersonation. Michael Bublé, thoughts on him? Pretty good voice. Can't really say I'm too familiar with most of his music, but he is a very good singer who is especially nice to hear around Christmas time. Subscribe to The Right Opinion. Am I? Right Opinion is one of my favorite YouTubers. I love his fucking videos. His editing is god tier. I would kill to edit like him. Or maybe not edit like him, but edit like the people that do the editing for him. I would kill to be able to do that shit. And his audio is just so pristine and so nice on the ears. And I vividly remember saying on Facebook one time that as much as I think Onision is a dead horse subject and not a whole lot new can really be said about him, a video from Right Opinion about Onision would be spectacular. And we finally got one. That's his most recent video, and it's a multi-part video. And I'm waiting very patiently for that. And one thing I also noticed is in the part of the video where he's spinning the wheel of who the next cameo is, I couldn't help but see Emp Lemon on that name, so I think we're going to see him make a cameo in the next part or so. Heard of Fox Nation? It's Netflix for D-bags. No, I haven't. Honestly, the editing was super easy, but thanks. You're welcome. The writing, however, took a while. I can only imagine. It takes a lot of thought to be able to be that descriptive and write that much about, the feel of listening to something and what you got out of it. It kind of makes me feel like I'm kind of lazy with it, but honestly, I hope that people get something out of, my writing and whatnot. But yeah. How do you think it might be like seeing Onision in jail? Delicious. Absolutely delicious. With all that's been happening, my interest in the subject has kind of been renewed. I've been really enjoying the Chris Hansen streams and some videos that were made by people. Sometimes it can get a bit repetitive. Like with some of Repsion's videos, they can be a bit repetitive but, other times, when I see a video on it, it's genuinely interesting. Right Opinion has some goddamn amazing content. The dude's writing is spot on, and his editors definitely do the narrations justice on a visual standpoint. Exactly. That is the thing I absolutely adore about his videos. Unfortunately, yes, Space Metal Onion does still exist. By the way, speaking of which, if you haven't seen this, go to Atticus the Death Metaler's channel and watch the dramatic reading he did of Onision tweets. Myself and Mortified Productions are both a part of that video. Yeah, Angel of Death is too easy. Then again, your music library probably has 5 times as large as mine, meaning you'd know how many, many, many more high-pitched metal screams that I do. Honestly, I'd probably say like any King Diamond song would probably fit the bill. Heard of Lily Livers? I think I've heard the name before, but other than that, no. Your script work is very solid, TBH. I wish I could get half my scripts and ideas articulated as well as you. Thank you, sir. Okay, I think now I'm gonna, cut the stream. So, thank y'all for tuning in. This was fun. Hopefully next time, I have a set topic and, some other stuff to do. I remember saying that I was gonna, play guitar a bit, and I don't think I'm really gonna have time to do that. I would really like to get some food. Hold on, I see one more question. Thoughts on Watch Mojo? Ugh. Generic, fucking predictable, friggin' lists and whatnot. No thought goes into their videos. They just rely on, fan voting, so the lists end up being even more predictable. And, the delivery is just so, like I said, synthetic. So, nah. Be glad you don't see my work in progress scripts, lol. I pretty much just put down abbreviated ideas for what I'd like to say and continuously grow back and refine them, haha. I didn't see that when we made the Hey Arnold videos. But yeah, again, thank you for everyone coming in here, and have a good rest of your evening. I'm Shades, and I'll see you next time.